knows what time we're supposed to go to computer lab today? Let's see. How about Kendra? 11 what? Ooh, it's not 11:15, but you're so close. Steven, go ahead.
11.
No, we don't go anywhere at 11:13. Well,
11:30.
nope, 11:30, nope. What if I give you a hint? The hour hand would be on the 11, and the minute hand would be pointing at the 12. What time would that be? Jennifer? 11 o'clock. So what time do we have computer lab today?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So at 11 o'clock, we're supposed to go to computer lab, but I have a special surprise for you instead. Okay? So save it until then. So today is Friday, May 15th. So let's count to 100 by, what do you think, Madison? Twos? We don't have our numbers now. You want to try it anyway? Fives? All right, let's do it. Ready? 5,
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100.
Very good. I need somebody to read the alphabet for us before we get moved on. Ethan, can you take over the alphabet?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Use the 6 point.
Apple, B ball, C cat, D duck, E elephant, F frog, G guitar, H hat, I iguana, J jelly bean, K kite, L ladybug, M monkey, N necklace, R octopus, P puzzle, Q quilt, R ring, S socks, T turtle, U umbrella, V vase, W watch, X x-ray, Y yo-yo, Z zebra.
Very good. So here's what I need for you all to do. You ready?
Yes.
I need you to please get ready to go back to your seat because we're going to go ahead and get started in just a moment. So when you go back to your seat, all you are going to need is one pencil and the piece of paper that I'm going to give you. So you need one pencil and the piece of paper that I'm going to give you. How many things do we need?
2 things.
2 things. So I should see 2 things on your desk. What are they? Destiny, Destiny,
A pen.
and what else? Jayla,
A piece of paper.
and the piece of paper. Where's that paper coming from?
You.
Coming from me. So if you are a girl and you are wearing white shoes or shoes that have white on them, you may go back to your seat. If you are a girl and you have a bow in your hair, you may go back to your seat. Yes, sorry. And then my boys, you all may go back to your seat. So, Harmony has her pencil on her desk, just like I asked. She has her pencil on his desk, just like I asked. She's ready for the paper. She's ready for her paper. Nakira has her pencil. Good job, Nakira. Ethan's ready. Harmony, can you do me a favor? Can you please put William's homework inside of his desk for me? Okay, so at the top, oh, hold on, under desk just in case you can. on our paper, who can raise their hand and tell me what is the first and most important thing that we need to write on our paper so that I know that it's yours, I know what we're doing, and I know what's about to happen and what I'm going to read. Hakeem, what's the most important thing we need to write on the top of our paper? Not just our name, but our whole what? Madison, do you want to help him? It's our heading, right? So on our heading, we need our name, we need our grade, our school, and today's date, which is 5/15/15. Pretty cool date. 5/15/15. So go ahead and write your heading on the top of your paper. When you're done, I want you to put your pencil down and put your eyes on me so that I know you're ready for the next direction. Steven has his name and his grade. Good job, Steven. Bless you. Ooh, so Marisa's done. Leslie's done. You know what? I'm being so silly. I forgot to tell you something.
Yeah.
The new thing on our heading we've been working on is the title, right?
Yeah.
So we need to give today's paper a title. So today's title will be Questions. Capital Q-U-E-S-T-I-O and S and underline. Yeah, Destiny. I forgot. Sorry. So go ahead and write your heading and the title, which is questions. So Steven's done. Good job, Steven. So Ethan put his pencil down, so I know he's done. Give me a thumbs up, so I know she's done. And don't forget to underline your title.
Okay.
10 more seconds and then we'll finish it up. 7, 6, 5, 3, 2. Go ahead and put your pencils inside of your desk. And put your eyes on these, please. So scholars.
Teacher.
Guess what?
Yes.
I won't show you yet, but guess what? I have a new book that we're going to read today.
Yay!
So, Miss Rockers is so nice. She was like, Mr. Palmer, I have this really cool book and I want you to share it with your class. So I said, ooh, please, can I have it? So she said, you can't have it, but I'll let you borrow it. So she's letting me share it with you today. Okay?
Tell them that it's a second grader's book.
It really is. It's a second grade book.
What?
So I showed Miss Nolte, she's one of the second grade teachers. I showed Miss Nolte and she was like, we didn't even read this book in second grade. So like, I know, this first grade's better. It is. So today we're going to read a book and it's called The Story of Ferdinand. It's called The Story of Ferdinand. So this is the what of the book? So this is the title, but what is this thing called? What is this thing called? Kaylee? Yes, this is a book, but what is this front called? Jayla?
A cover.
It's called the cover. So look at the cover. I'm going to walk around. I want you to look at the cover. I just want you to take a look at it. It's really cool. And while you're looking at the cover, I want you to think about a question or two. So about 2 questions that you have about this book, about the story of Ferdinand. I want you to write down 2 questions that you have about this book just by looking at the cover. So I'm going to give you 2 questions, so 2 minutes to write down your 2 questions that you have about this book just by looking at the cover. So go ahead and do that now, please. Remember how our question ends with what kind of punctuation?
A question mark.
A question mark, yeah, so you're right. I want you to think of a question that you have about this book. When Jayla's off to a good start, she said, my question is, you have about 1 more minute to finish up your 2 questions. Give me the question. Okay. 5 more seconds. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to save those questions and we're going to take them in our brains down to the carpet with us, okay? So I realize that I'm going to be sitting in a different spot today, so we're going to go and walk to our spots on the carpet, and then all we're going to do is just turn our bodies so that you can see me still. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So that means when it's time to transition down to the carpet, you're going to walk and you're going to stand in your spot as if I'm sitting in my regular chair, and then we're just going to turn around to face me and then have a seat. Okay? Capiche?
Copy.
Alright, so let's go ahead and set our pencils on the tray so they don't roll away. And leave your questions out on your desk. Good. So Jangelle's ready. Ethan's ready. Steven's ready. If you are 7 years old, come on. If you are 6 years old, you have to walk. Okay, so let's turn and face the board, please. And then girls, you may have a seat. Okay, so before we get to sharing our questions, let's think a little bit more. Okay, so good readers ask questions while they read, right? That's something that we always talk about. Good readers ask questions. Why do you think good readers are going to ask questions while they read? Madison, why do you think a good reader would ask questions while they read?
I think a good reader will ask questions so they to like know what the story is gonna be about.
Oh my gosh, kiss your brain. So Madison, did you hear what Madison said?
Yes.
Yes, Harmony, can you tell us what Madison said, please?
Madison said, I forgot. I forget things very quickly.
Ask her again.
Madison, what did you say? I forgot. Good readers always ask questions because so they can know what's to think about the story, what it's about.
Okay.
Madison said, good readers ask questions to see what the story is all about.
Yeah, to think about what the story's about, right? So we do that a lot when we're reading The Cat in the Hat, when we were reading Gilbert the Goldfish, when we read Tippy Toe Chick Go. We stop and we ask questions so that we can think about what's going on in the story, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there are two important reasons, in addition to Madison's, why good readers ask questions while they read, Kaylee. So one of those is to understand and remember what we read. So good readers are going to stop and ask questions so they can understand and remember what they read. We do that, don't we?
Yes.
We read a story, we read a couple pages, then we stop. And maybe I ask a question, or maybe you ask some questions and we think about it. We talk about what we've already read, what we already know, and then we keep going. And then the other reason is to stay engaged in the story. What do you think that means, to stay engaged in the story? That's a big word. Kendra, what do you think that means?
I'm engaged in the story, so you can know at the end the story is going to be all about something, and you probably will know.
I like your answer, but I think you misunderstood my question, so let me ask it one more time, okay? So my question is, what do you think the word engaged means? So what do I mean by to stay engaged in the story? What am I really trying to say?
That
Do you need some help? Let a friend help you.
When you mean engage, you mean to when you done asking a question, you keep on reading the story.
And you continue to pay what?
Attention.
Pay attention. So engaged means basically to just pay attention. Okay? So you guys wrote down 2 questions, right? To help you stay engaged and to help you understand what you're going to read today. So I want you to share a couple of your questions. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to use JoJo and I'm going to pick 4 really great questions from 4 really awesome people. Okay? So am I picking?
No.
No, JoJo's going to pick 4 people to share their questions. And we're going to write them down. We're going to record them. So that way when we read our story, hopefully, maybe we'll get our questions answered. Okay? So let's see who JoJo wants to hear from first. I hope you're thinking about your question. Oh, I hope you're thinking. So let's see. Will, what was one of your questions, buddy?
One of my questions was, is the story make-believe?
Is the story make-believe? That's a really good question.
That's a
So is the story make I didn't even think about that one. Good job. Very good. One for you. Let's see. Maurice, did you have a question about the story from when you were looking at the cover? You didn't write down anything? Or do you have any questions now?
About.
Do you want more time to think? Okay, I'm coming back. So you have 2 more people and then I'm coming back. Jennifer, did you have a good question to share? Go ahead.
Is the like the picture was the horse on it, and then like the horse was gonna walk.
So maybe what is he going to do? So it sounds like you had 2 questions, right? So what? So maybe what is going to happen? Is that okay that I reworded that? And then your other question was, it sounded like, what is this thing, right? Or who is this? So maybe could I say, who is the story about? Is that okay? Good job. Let's see, Marianne. Ooh. So is the story about a cow? How can I phrase that? How can I phrase that? Can I phrase that differently?
Because I think lots of people maybe had questions about who is Ferdinand. So maybe that's also another, who is the story about? Is Ferdinand a cow? Maybe that's a second question to Jennifer's question.
I like that. So is Ferdinand, I love that name, a cow? What was your question? Can you speak up? I can't hear you. Say it one more time.
Was it a boy or a girl?
Is Ferdinand a boy or girl? All right, and then Maurice has promised coming back.
Is the story gonna be about him and flowers?
So him and flowers? Is that what you're thinking? That is a stupendous question. So how could I rephrase that? Why are there flowers? So why are there flowers? That's so good. Oh, you a point? Oh, you a point. Okay. Okay, so let's read our questions, okay? So, is the story make-believe? What is going to happen? Who is the story about? Is Ferdinand a cow? Is Ferdinand a boy or girl?
Why are there flowers?
Very good. So as we're reading through your questions, I noticed that you guys used some really special question words. Are you ready to find out what they were? So I saw that you used this word. I saw this one. Let's see. And I saw this one right here. So I saw what, who, and why. And you guys are jumping right ahead of me because you're so smart. Because those are exactly the words that good readers use when they ask their questions. So good readers always ask questions by asking about who, they ask about what.
What?
They ask about
Why?
They ask about why. They also ask about where. They also ask about when. And then they also, right? That is a lot of W's. And they also ask about
Who?
how. How. So how is the story going to end? Okay. So today we're going to read about Ferdinand, and we are going to hopefully we're going to get all your questions answered really soon. So if I could have you please turn your bodies to face me. I'm over here. So before we get started with our story, we made this really awesome list of questions, right? So why do you think it's a good idea for us to ask these questions? We kind of talked a little bit about understanding and remember. We kind of talked about staying engaged. But why do you think people ask questions? About life, about books, about things. Why do you think people ask questions, Harmony?
I think people ask questions because they just want to know how things are and how the story is and how the story begins and stuff.
Yeah, so how the story ends, how it begins, what happens in the middle, right?
Yes.
And sometimes people just want to learn what?
More.
Learn more, right?
More.
So we ask questions so we can learn more. Okay? So how do we answer questions though? So we ask a lot of questions, but how are we going to know that we're going to answer our questions? Kaylee?
I think by using our brain.
By using our brain. By using our brain and using what else?
The book.
We're going to use the book today to answer our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big questions. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so I need my scholars sitting crisscross applesauce with their hands in there, sitting up straight with excellent posture, and their eyes are on me. Let me scoot over to the middle so everybody can see you. Okay. So our story is called The Story of Ferdinand by Monroe Leaf. So who is Monroe Leaf? Jayla.
Monroe Leaf is the illustrator.
By.
I mean the author.
Oh, okay. So the Monroe Leaf is the author, and the author's job is to write the story, to write the book. Drawings by Robert Lawson. So Robert Lawson is the illustrator, and the illustrator's job, Rodney, is to?
The illustrator's job is to draw the pictures.
Draw the pictures. Very good. Oh, and these are, before I show you, these are some stupendous pictures, okay? So you gotta be ready.
Whoa!
Mm-hmm. I was sitting in bed reading this book, and I had to read it 4 times because it was so wonderful.
Oh,
It was so good. What word?
Is that a bull?
This word is Fernando.
Is that a bull?
In Spanish, it says El Toro Foros.
Ah!
That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
What's that mean? Is that a bull?
Well, let's find out.
It's in Spanish.
Let's find out. The Story of Ferdinand. You guys are jumping ahead. Calm down.
No. The story of Ferdinand.
Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together.
Oh, that's what they do sometimes.
But not Ferdinand. he liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. Seems like a sweet bowl. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree.
Oh.
It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. So let's stop right here. I want you to think. Are you ready?
Yes.
I want you to think. Do we have the answers to any of our questions? So what I'm going to let you do is I want you to turn and talk to your partner when I say go. I want you to turn and talk to your partner, and I want you to share with them if we've answered any of our questions. And then at the end, you're going to have to tell me what your partner said, right? So go ahead and high five your partner, the person sitting next to you, and hold it up so I see who my partners are.
Oh, you two. You two are partners.
Kaylee and Ayana, go ahead. And then, Will, why don't you join Steven and Harmony? I think that'd be a great group. Okay? So high five your partners, hold it up, let me see. When we're speaking to our partners, what voice level should we be using? Ooh, thank you for showing me. Thank you for showing me. So make sure you use a level 1 whisper. Are you ready? Yes. Your partner's right there. Are you okay? You need to go to the restroom? You sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, high five your partner. And let's go. Go ahead. To share with your partner, have we answered any of our questions so far? Well, good thing I'm a doctor on the weekends. And Friday is kind of almost a weekend. Right? Alright, let me see. That's a bleed on my Friday, right? Alright, don't pick that. And we'll check on it after. Clap, clap, turn back. Okay, let's hear what your partner said. Who can tell me? Did we answer any of our questions? Tell me what your partner told you. Kaylee, what did Ayana have to say?
Ayana said about the bull is she thinks he's kind and nice.
So she thinks the bull is kind and nice? Was that one of our questions?
No.
But it was still valuable information, right?
Yes.
So very good. Kendrell, tell us about what your partner said. Did we answer any of our questions already?
I can have told me that we have answers to our questions so far.
Okay, can you tell us one that we've answered then?
The flowers part.
Flowers. So why are there flowers?
Because he likes to sit around them. And I think
Ferdinand.
It's a nice bull because he's not like the other bulls.
Uh-huh. So Kendrell made a really good point. So let me write this down first. So you said he likes to smell the flowers.
Yeah.
And is Ferdinand a cow? No, he is a
bull.
He is a bull. So he Okay. Oh, hang on. Somebody else. He is a bull. Bonus question, are you ready?
Yeah.
Put your hand down, I want to see what you know. Does anybody know what's the difference between a bull and a cow? What's the difference between a bull and a cow? Ethan?
Bulls, they hate the color red, and but cows, they don't. They mostly don't run, and cows just walk sometimes. But they're not afraid of the color red.
So
Bulls
Ethan
hate
said that bulls hate the color red, but our book is what color?
red. That might be simple.
Maybe the author might be hinting at something.
Yeah, because of one I read.
I don't know. So that was very good. Does anybody know any other differences between a bull and a cow? So off topic. Hakeem?
Because bulls have things like this pointed at their
What are
head.
those things called?
Horn.
Horns. Bulls have horns. Do cows have horns?
No.
No.
Some cows do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
I think they have tiny ones.
Well, tell you what.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
Like when they're babies, right?
I'm not really an expert in cows.
Yeah, I'm not an expert either.
Yeah.
Are you ready to hear the big difference?
Yes.
Bulls are just boy cows.
Oh,
And cows are,
girl cows.
well, yeah, girl cows. Or just girl cows. They're girl cows. And bulls are boy cows. So I think we just answered another question. So is Ferdinand a boy or a girl? A boy because he is a bull. Did we answer any other questions?
No.
Rodney?
We answered.
Or can we answer any other questions?
We answered. Is this story make believe? No, it isn't.
So it's not make-believe?
No.
What proof do you have?
Because bulls, because bulls do, because baby bulls do, they do, what's it called when they bump their head?
They butt their heads together?
Uh-huh.
That's true. That's very true. So, here's the thing. I'm not going to write the answer yet because you do have some proof, but I don't think we have enough to give a real answer yet. Is that fair?
Yes.
So let's get some more evidence from the book and see if we can really answer that question. Maybe it'll be closer to the end, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's keep reading. Ready? So, scholars,
Teacher,
where do I need your hands?
in our laps,
Where do I need your eyes?
on you.
Oh, I see my excellent posture. Oh my God, y'all. So now I gotta check mine. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yes.
Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself.
Oh, his mother?
Because his mommy is a girl, right? Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head? She would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers. See why I told you to wait? His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him sit and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. Ooh, look at him now. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. Yeah, his mom is old by now. but not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the court tree and smell the
flower again.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about this question. Are you ready?
Yes.
So I want you to think about what questions can we answer about our story now that we've read a little bit more. So I want you to high five your partners and get ready to turn and talk. And when I say go, I want you to tell your partners more about the questions that we can answer now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Level 1 whisper. Clap, clap, turn back. Friends, what questions can we answer? What you talk about with your partners? Miss Madison, what you and your partner talk about? What can we answer now?
We talked about is Ferdinand always going to smell flowers?
Ooh, so it sounds like we added a new question, right? So is Ferdinand always going to smell flowers?
No.
So can we phrase our question to where we use one of our really great question words? So who, what, when, where, how, or why? So maybe why is Ferdinand smelling flowers? Or why does he like to smell flowers? To smell flowers. Okay. Can we answer any other questions?
Yeah.
Ethan, what other questions can we answer?
We can answer.
Stephen, your eyes are here.
Is the story make believe?
Is our story make-believe, Ethan?
Yes.
Yes? What proof do you have?
The truth is all that we just don't know. We don't sit and change this flowers.
Yeah, and they also don't look. Yeah, bulls don't speak either. That's why I told you to wait, Patty. So, is our story make-believe? Yes.
Oh.
Could we answer any other questions? What is going to happen? Do we know yet? No. Who is the story about? Do we know that yet?
Yes.
Who is our story about?
Ferdinand.
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 And then I think that's good. Do we have any other questions that came up so far? Ethan?
I know.
Okay, let's hear your question. Go fast. Oh, we already answered your question. Okay.
But it wasn't like that.
Okay, but then do you want to save it for later so you can write down your answer and then share it with us at the end? Okay, perfect. All right, so I need your eyes back on me, please. Can you go to that shirt? I need your feet crisscrossed. I need our hands and our what?
Laps.
One day, 5 men came in big funny hats to pick the biggest, roughest, fastest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. You think they're gonna pick Ferdinand?
No. Ferdinand gonna have to do it.
All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce, and pick them. Ferdinand knew they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't. Good morning. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. Thank you, you too.
Oh, did you talk to her?
No, not yet. I haven't seen her yet this morning.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sneak over during, I don't get a break today, but I'm going to sneak over there during lunch or either at the end of the day.
Okay. Just text me.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
He didn't know where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. What questions do you have now?
I knew I had something.
He's gonna sit on a bumblebee. What questions do you have, Steven?
He will get stung.
Is that a question?
No.
Can you change it to make that a question?
Ferdinand will get stung and
I'm gonna pause you. Can somebody help? Help, help, help. So it sounds like you have something to tell me. I want to know if you have something to ask me. So if you have a question, okay? Kendrell, do you have a question?
is Ferdinand going to stop?
Is Ferdinand going to get stung? I don't know. So let's find out. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. So, we are going to stop right there for now. What questions do you have now? Mary? So we know that the bee is going to sting him. What questions do we have now? Let's turn to the board so we can see. What questions do you have now? Ayana?
My question was, is Ferdinand going to get stung?
So is Ferdinand going to get stung?
Yes.
Yes, because we just read that, right? So he got stung. Harmony, can you think of another good question?
Yes. Is it going to hurt?
So maybe how is this thing going to feel? How will, or maybe how will Ferdinand feel? And then Ayana, what was your question again? Is he going to get stung? So maybe where is he going to get stung? Where will he get stung? Okay, so we're going to stop right there for now, okay? What I'm going to have you do now is I'm going to give you a minute to go back to your seat, and we're going to get started on another activity that's going to help us continue shaping some of our questions and answers, okay? So what I need you to do now is, if you are a girl, please stand up. Boys, please stand up. And go ahead and walk back to your seats. Go ahead and slide your questions paper into your desk because we're going to use those later this afternoon when we continue with Ferdinand, okay? Jennifer's ready. She has her desk cleared and her hands on me. Mary's ready. This whole side is ready. Jayla's ready. The friends in the middle are ready. The friends on this side are ready. Oh, easy. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to make a flip book. You know how much I love flip books. So we're going to make a flip book today. Inside of our flip book, we're going to write some of our question words. We're going to write who. We're going to write what. We're going to write why, where, when, and how. Each little flap will get one question, just like we always do. right? Underneath each flap, you will have to either draw a picture or write me a little sentence to tell me or to answer that question. So tell me more about the answer to that question. Okay. When you're done, your flip book will look something like this. So you have who,
Who said where?
and then you have who the story is about. You'll have where, you'll have where the story takes place. And we'll have what, and then we'll have what happened. Okay? And so on and so forth. This is one that I had a student do for me before, and it's about something else. It's not about this story. So your pictures aren't going to match. But that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass out your flip books. What I need you to do first is I need you to write your name across the what? Across the back. So that way I know whose book it is. So when you get your flip book from me, go ahead and write your name on the back. And then flip it over to the front so that way we can label our flaps together. Capiche? Capiche? Thank you. Oh, they're flip flapping together. Okay. One for you, one for us. Yes, here. Hey, Dean. How was character council? Excellent. Questions over there? You're welcome. Bring it in on the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, so scholars,
Teacher.
go ahead and close the flaps of your book so that way everything's closed and you're ready to write. On the first flap, so on the top left, on this little flap right here, we're going to write the word what?
Who?
We're going to write the word what?
Who?
Who. So go ahead and write the word who. Look at how big I wrote it. I made it almost the whole size of the flap. So you should make it almost the whole size of the flap. And with a question mark. Very good. Because it's a question. So who.
Oh, darn it.
So W-H-O. If you can't see my flap, it's also on the board on our chart. So on the next flap, so the flap next door, we need to write the word where. So go ahead and do that. You have the word were, not where. W-H-E-R-E, writing. And then you need to go ahead and write the rest of your questions. So who, where, what, when, why, and how. And I'm going to take those close so that way you can see. Who, where, what, when, why, and how. Question words written. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go ahead and stop for just a second. We'll have to continue later on this afternoon, okay?
Yes.
So don't worry if you didn't finish writing all your question words yet. So under our first flap, it says who. Who is our story all about, Madison?
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand. So you know what I want you to do? I want you on that flap. When you open it up, I want you to write the word Ferdinand. Ferdinand is F-E-R-D-I-N-A-N-D. And I want you to draw me a picture of Ferdinand the bull. Draw me a picture of Ferdinand the bull. I like your curly horns. Who remembers where our story takes place? Where does our story take place? Will? Outside. Very good. Can anybody give us some more detail about where our story takes place? Kendrell?
In a barn?
Not in a barn. I don't remember a barn. Jayla, can you give us more detail about where our story takes place?
Under at the bullfight.
So there was a part where it was at a bullfight. Can anybody give us more example or more details? Harmony?
A grassland.
So grassland or a pasture, right? So a pasture. So I want you to, underneath the where flap, we're going to write 3 words. Ready? A pasture, P-A-S-T-U-R-E, in Spain, right? And then I want you to draw me a picture of that pasture. So draw me a picture of what you remember that pasture looking like in the book. A pasture in Spain. place in pasture in Spain? Don't forget that cork tree. Good job, Mary. Okay, so today, so far we've been talking about questions. We've been talking about some special question words to help us remember. And we've talked about the reasons why we ask questions. So who can raise their hand and remind us, why do we ask questions again? Why do we ask questions, Ayana?
We ask questions because we ask questions so somebody will know what we do.
Yeah, so we ask questions so that we know what we're doing and so that we can remember what we read and what we've learned about, correct? Okay. So this afternoon we're going to pick up where we left off and we're going to continue asking questions as we finish reading Ferdinand. So for now, I want you to go ahead and add some color and add some detail to your first two flaps, and then we will take a few minutes to share at the end. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to add details, so go ahead.